Where's this?
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
Assemble.
What I love about Nicole, she is a mother who plays, really plays.
What I love about Charlie, he loves being a dad. He loves all the things you're supposed to hate, like waking up at night.
And now one that is probably going to shock people for where I have it overall in terms of this menagerie of reviews, and that is Marriage Story, Noah Baumbach's second film for Netflix that is being touted as the big thing to win all of these Oscars. And let me tell you something, every single year, there's always that one movie for Best Picture that I'm just like, okay, like I get why it was nominated, but okay, because I feel like the Oscars have done a really good job in recent years of not just nominating like the basic Oscar bait movies that will be nominated for just because they're made to win Oscars. And let me tell you something, as a follow-up to the Meyerowitz stories, which looking back, that's one of those movies that I enjoy the more and more I think about it. This movie, man, I just don't get the hype for.
She knows when to push me and when to leave me alone.
He never lets other people keep him from what he wants to do.
Dad, you're too far.
I know.
Now, what I will say that I really enjoyed about it is in terms of translating across the feelings that one will get from going through a divorce and going through a scenario like this, I think this film absolutely rocked. In terms of everything else, though, it felt like every time I hear these characters talk, I don't feel like I'm watching legitimate characters. And part of that is because their entire setup is told to us in voiceover.
It's not easy for her to close a cabinet.
He's incredibly neat.
She's brave.
He's brilliant. He's
She's
very
very
competitive.
Which is already a big no-no for me immediately, but usually if the scenarios can match and actually like make the story really compelling so that it made the voiceover necessary, then I'd be okay with it. But the problem is that this is a situation where I feel like you need to see the relationship beforehand in order to really understand the deterioration and in order to make the feelings and the overall sense of aura that you get from the deterioration of the relationship really stick. And that is just not there for me this time around. And it sucks because it really drags down the performances of the actors as well. Because with the exception of Adam Driver and Ray Liotta, there are a few scenes in this movie that I really think I'm like, okay, wow, that is intense. That is amazingly well written. But for the rest of it, I'm not the fan of. Laura Dern is basically doing an extended version of her performance in Big Little Lies. The difference being that in that one, you could tell she was having a ball with, so it made that much more of a difference. Alda is just kind of playing the donnery old man, and the juxtaposition of how they use him as composed to Ray Liotta in terms of to translate across the struggle that Adam Driver's going through, like that's well and good and all, but like it's not good enough to justify him getting an Oscar nomination. And Scarlett Johansson, let me tell you something, I wasn't a fan of her in this movie, both of her performance overall, which wasn't that strong to begin with, and the fact of just with how the film is translated across, it ends up going very one-sided in terms of Driver scene. Like there's one specific scene in general where Driver and Johansson are having this phone conversation, and it doesn't help that Scarlett's motivation for the divorce is already weak enough, I would say, and really makes her come off like a shallow character. But it really just puts, in that scenario alone, just puts the chips all in Driver's corner and makes the rest of the film feel very one-sided. And for a situation like this, for what this film is about, that's not okay for me, and that doesn't make a good film. So, I know Baumbach credited a lot of this to his divorce with Jennifer Jason Leigh, and I could definitely feel the one-sidedness overall. And yeah, and unfortunately, it kind of really dragged down this movie for me. So when this movie gets all of the Oscar nominations that it's going to, I'm just going to be like, yeah, sorry, didn't deserve it.
It's not as simple as not being in love anymore.
Eventually, it'll be the two of you having to figure this out. Together.